As the United States gets ready to celebrate its 250th birthday, it's a great time to not only look at where we're going as a nation, but also where we've been. Northwestern Pennsylvania is an epicenter of history, and one of the sites is in Waterford, the Eagle Hotel. Our Bailey Mutschler has much more.
Just in time for America 250, one piece of history right here in Erie County is celebrating an anniversary of its own. The Eagle Hotel is turning 200 years old. Built in 1826, the hotel welcomed travelers through the stagecoach era, serving as a gathering place for visitors passing through Waterford as the nation continued to grow.
Upon arrival here, you would find this to be a sanctuary. You would have an opportunity to get a strong drink, a fine meal, and at least a place to sleep.
Over the decades, the stone building thrived and survived through generations of change, becoming one of the region's longest-standing connections to the early days of American travel and commerce. While much of America's early history exists in photographs and books, here, visitors can still walk through it.
The Eagle Hotel is an opportunity to see, touch, and smell history.
It's a symbol of one of the things that America built. This small town, was definitely a thriving community, and it's all these thriving communities that make up the whole of the country.
In celebration of the anniversary, the Fort LaBeouf Historical Society led special tours through the building filled with historical displays, served dinner with a chance to meet some of the Eagle Hotel players, and held a social at the Yellow Tavern.
I hope people just appreciate how special this building is, because in Erie County, most people, you can say the Eagle Hotel and they know exactly what you're talking about. It's an anchor building for the community of Waterford.
200 years later and 250 years into our country's independence, the Eagle Hotel's history lives on as organizers work to share its story with new generations.
Obviously, so much history when you talk about 200 years of a building being in this area. Here now to talk more about the Eagle Hotel, her experience, and really what this site has meant to the area, still means to the area, is Bailey Mutschler, a reporter. Good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Let's start out, you and I were talking about something they call the stagecoach era. And I guess if you're 200 years old, you have a stagecoach era. Tell me about that.
So the stagecoach era is really just horses and buggies. That was the mode of travel back then. It was very packed, it was very uncomfortable, and stopping by the Eagle Hotel was like a breath of fresh air for those people.
And when those people got here, it wasn't just some dusty spot on the trail. It wasn't a place to get out and stretch your legs. They got out and they see this Eagle Hotel, this stone building. They see the beginnings of this settlement, which becomes Waterford, and it really is a kind of evidence of civilization, if you will.
For sure, and those early settlers, among them was Thomas King, who built the hotel with master builder Ebenezer Evans. And yeah, these people were coming by this upscale establishment, fully stone building, really one of a kind for this kind of era.
And for those who know the Eagle Hotel, you know that there is we'll say, urban myth about it, that George Washington spent a night at the Eagle Hotel, or at least stopped at the Eagle Hotel. There's even a famous statue of him immediately to the south of the building there in the little park they have, which is a pretty cool little spot if you get a chance, if you've never been there before. Talk to me about that lore that I guess that kind of hangs over the whole building.
Yeah, so a really common rumor even in Waterford, growing up in Waterford, I heard this all of the time, was that George Washington had stayed in the building. And well, it is true that George Washington made his way up to Waterford before it was Waterford.
He was in the area.
He was
Definitely in the area.
There was no hotel at the time that he made his way up there.
Because that's if I get it, that's the 1750s.
1750s.
So it's well before the Eagle Hotel as we know it.
That was the time of Fort LaBeouf.
Okay.
So there was no way that George Washington could have stayed at the Eagle Hotel because it didn't exist yet.
It's such a great story, though.
It is.
Maybe it was an earlier form of the Eagle Hotel, if we want to be romantic about it and say that he stayed there.
Well, you know who did stay there?
Who?
Zachary Taylor, the 12th
Interesting.
president.
On a presidential lore and history of its own.
The reason he stayed there actually was because he was such a big fan of George Washington and he wanted to see the ruins of Fort LaBeouf.
Okay.
It's pretty cool
So
tidbit.
Zachary Taylor didn't buy into George Washington slept here. He just wanted to see Fort LaBeouf.
Oh, he just wanted to see Fort LaBeouf. He knew all
Okay.
about it. That was probably long before the rumor, but you never know.
Okay, so again, some spots that we've seen, some spots that are familiar, whether it's the restaurant or the gift area. But how about that? I know you talked about the third floor, and there are not a lot of people that have been there.
No, it is rarely seen. So they're kind of working on it right now, but when they were celebrating their bicentennial, they let people up and see the third floor. And really, it's quiet up there now, but back in the day, it was what historians say as hopping. And there was, in the 1930s, big bands would come up there and play. And
Really?
Yeah, lots
Okay.
of fun stuff that would happen up on the third floor, and it was just a really good place for parties and having a good time.
Maybe a bit of the past and a look at what might happen. Now, let me ask you this, just on a personal perspective. When you go into that building, do you get the feeling that, wow, I am where there is a lot of history?
Absolutely. It's really powerful, honestly, and I like to kind of think of myself as a little bit of a history buff. And so going into a place like that where you can just feel the hundreds of years of history when you walk through the door, and they keep it very well preserved, and there's a lot of exhibits that they have there that you can actually see kind of what it looked like. One thing I saw that I was just like blown away by is that the beds were like made of twine, and they would tighten it. Like it was just twine strung across from
Okay.
both sides,
All right.
and that was what they slept on.
And once you stretched it out, they would tighten it up, and then
Yeah,
it does not sound comfortable.
I can't imagine, no.
I'm gonna stay with the Posturepedic, no twine. Just, I'm throwing that out there for I don't know what reason. What should people take away from the Eagle Hotel, whether it's watching your story or whether it's actually going to the site itself?
Well, I mean, you framed it perfectly. It's not just about where we're going, but it's really about where we've been and not forgetting that history that built this nation.
And that's, I think, what so many people, as we look at the 250th birthday, just this summer, obviously, it's great that we're spending so much time, I believe, finding out what built America. And this is one little teeny part, but significant part of that history. Every little block that makes the castle of the U.S., I guess, is significant, and the Eagle Hotel goes down in history as one of those significant building blocks.
And I agree.
All right, Bailey Mutschler, thank you so much. It was great to see your story. And it's great for me to see younger reporters see the interest and understand what's important there. So thank you.
You learn something new every day.
Absolutely.